Hello, are you ready for some controversy? Because that is what we're going to be doing today. I am going to be talking about some really controversial stuff, as usual, a lot of the time, but especially this one because this has been on my mind for a while. We got to really go into it deep. Okay, so get ready, get excited, get ready to be triggered, get ready to have some fun. So this idea that I'm gonna try to talk about all this in one go here. This idea that women let's start with money, right? That a man's money is his woman's money, and a woman's money is also her money. Okay, and that's part of this. And then the other idea that a woman is not meant to be working, right? She's just meant to be making smoothies all day and going to the beach, getting a tan, and going to the gym, and that's it. All right. Now that kind of lifestyle is sold by a lot of femininity coaches because it really appeals to a woman's ego, especially shallow women's egos, and women who, not just shallow women's egos, but also women who are just really stressed out in life, and understandably, because this world and the way that men are showing up for women makes it really easy for women to be stressed, right? It really sucks for women right now. So that kind of lifestyle is sold as this amazing package of, you do this femininity work and then you never have to work another day in your life. That's BS. Okay. Masculine men do not want a woman who does nothing. Okay, they don't want a woman who does nothing. Now, there's caveats to this. We're going to go into this. So hang on to your butt here. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to give you an example in my life, right? So my wife and I, I'm the only one that works, which is great. I don't want her working outside of the household for many reasons, but she's working. Okay, it's not that she's not contributing to the household. She's doing a lot. She is cooking, she's cleaning, she's managing the household, and by far, most importantly, she's taking care of our daughter. And I spend some time with her too, of course, but she's doing most of the, spending most of the time with her so that I can focus on working. So what she's actually doing, her contribution, her work is to make my life a lot easier so that I can make lots of money and provide for the family. And conversely, right, my job is to make her job a lot easier, everything that she's doing, by first of all making sure she doesn't have to worry about financial stuff in any kind of way, but also leading her, right, so that she's not having to make all of these big decisions, which is what stresses women out. See, it's not work so much that's the problem. Women are designed to work. Okay, women are designed to work. And I know that. So what I am talking about here, this is probably not going to be my best video for selling women into my masterclass or academy program, right? Because I'm not appealing to anyone's ego in any kind of way. I'm not appealing to anybody's pain points or anything like that so much. Not for this one, but I'm being really real with you. Okay, I'm not here to sell you something that's just fake and not reality. I'm here to tell you the truth about masculine men and about women and about polarity and about a polarized relationship. Okay, if you've come here for the truth, then you're at the right place. If you're here to appeal to your ego, you're definitely in the wrong place. So look, for thousands of years, women have worked, and they've worked hard, right? They're designed for it. They're designed, taking care, not just one child, but taking care of 10 children, taking care of 15 children, taking care of making meals for them, taking care of washing clothes before there was a washing machine, right? Before all of those modern day inventions. Women were designed to work hard. And that, just like with men, right? Work gives men meaning. It gives men purpose. It also gives women meaning, but in a different kind of way. Okay. Now, obviously there's an extent where it's just like it's where work is going to kill, like it's just too much work and it's killing a woman's femininity, right? We don't want to overburden women with work, just like I don't want to overburden my wife with work. But what really kills a woman's femininity, it's not the work, it's the responsibility. Okay, when a woman has a man in her life, ideally her husband, who is taking care of her, who is financially providing for her, and who is leading her, he is taking off that burden of responsibility, right? So even with my wife, I'll just give an example. Like, so I'm obviously financially providing for her, but even just with our child, if there is any big decisions to be made, she has me there to make those decisions. Whereas if she was a single mother, even if she had all the money in the world, that would be a lot more stressful for her to be a single mother because she has all of those responsibilities. She is the one that's stuck with all of that decision making. That is what drains the hell out of a woman. Okay, that is what siphons off her femininity and puts her in a position where she has to be increasingly masculine. Okay, it's not the work itself. A woman is not going to thrive making smoothies, going to the beach, buying designer brand purses, and that's her life, right? If that's a small part of her life, I mean, great. Lots of women go shop or enjoy shopping and whatever, and that's a great way to relax and whatever. I mean, I don't understand it as a man, but I know that a lot of women do like that, and that's totally fine. Okay, it's not about that. It's just about this belief that a woman is not meant to work. Okay, that being feminine is just about this passive, doing nothing, empty person. Like that's not. That, why would a man want that? Why would a masculine man want that? An emasculated man might want that because think about why that appeals to him. If a man is really emasculated, if he lacks self-worth, then he's going to have to make up for his perceived lack of self-worth through something else. And one of the easiest ways for a man to do that is through his money. So if he can just provide for his woman and take care of her and make her life as easy as possible and not have her doing anything, then he can feel worthy. Okay. It's the exact same thing that happens with parents, with children, right? If they lack self-worth, they think that they're bad parents in some kind of way, then, they're going to spoil the crap out of their children. Their children are going to grow up to be little entitled narcissists who have no capacity to do anything. And it's not healthy, right? Like, I don't want that for my daughter. Right? I'm not going to be sending my daughter off to be working a full-time job when she's 16 to provide for herself, right? That's not what I'm suggesting, but I am suggesting that a parent, that a father is going to be leading their children, both boys and girls, in different kind of ways, very different kind of ways, to do things that are very meaningful, okay? And that are contributing in some kind of way. They're contributing in some kind of way, not necessarily the same kind of way. This is so fundamentally important to understand. Hi, Zach. This clears up a lot for me. Thank you for helping me understand. Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is one thing I haven't talked about this much. I've talked about it a little bit, but not in a long time. And there's just so many voices out there that are just filling women's heads up with garbage about their role, and that their role is just to receive and do nothing. That's not the truth. It's not the truth. And it's not even, there's the contribution aspect, right? Like, I want my wife to be contributing to our household in a feminine way, but it's so much more than that. Like, from a fully selfless place as a man, I want her life to have a lot of meaning. Okay? And human beings, when fully left up to their own devices, right? When they don't need to be doing anything, like there's no necessity, there's no urgency, there's no anything to be doing anything, we tend to turn into lazy blobs. right? Like when you have everything handed to you on a golden platter, you tend to take the easy route out, easy way out, and do nothing. Not every single human, but most humans, right? We become apathetic, and we become pathetic. We become pathetic and apathetic, and I would never want that from my wife, even though I could give her that lifestyle. Like with the kind of money that I make, she would never have to do anything. Like we could hire full support for absolutely everything, cooking, cleaning, taking care of our daughter. She can just go shopping every day for purses. Okay, literally. Well, maybe not like the highest quality purses every day, but she could buy purses every day. Okay, I don't want that for her because that's such an empty, boring, pathetic life for a woman. It might sound great for a day, but that's not meaningful. Okay, a masculine man's not going to tolerate that. I would not want that for any. I don't want that for any woman. Really don't. Now let's I'll steer this because this was the other part that I wanted to talk about here. We're going to steer this to the topic of money. I started this video off with a man's money is my money. My money is my money. Okay. So let's say that a woman doesn't work, or sorry, that she doesn't have a child, right? So she is, and by the way, anyone who has comments, go tell me, share the comments. I want to hear. We'll talk about them. So she doesn't have a child, and obviously that would be such a huge part of a woman's life. And let's say she wants to be in the workforce for whatever reason. Now, in an ideal polarized situation, well, the most polarized situation possible, I'm not necessarily saying this is for everybody, but the most polarized situation is where the woman is only working from home. Okay. But say a woman is working, say there's just something she really loves, just so passionate about doing, and it happens to be outside of the household. Okay. And let's just say that both man and woman both make $75,000 a year. Okay. Or 50,000 or 100,000, doesn't matter. Like whose money is what? Like how are things going to be divided? Right? Because in the the single women, the women who are single or are married to an emasculated man and they're coaching femininity, what they are typically going to tell you is that the man's money is your money and your money is also your money, because the man is supposed to be the provider, and any man who would take any of a woman's money, it means he's super emasculated. No, actually, a man is super emasculated if he allows his woman to spend all of her money on herself, and then he has to fully provide for the family. Okay, that's emasculation, right? Because she's out all day doing stuff that, first of all, is going to partially be masculinizing her, right? So he doesn't get anything from that. And then all of her money is for her. How does that benefit him in any way? And I'm not saying this in like a transactional kind of way, like, this isn't about being transactional, okay? But a relationship has to benefit a man. Why would he take a woman who's making $75,000 a year and he's making his own $75,000 a year, and then she's out benefiting herself instead of being in the home and making his life easier? Why not dump her and find a woman who has no job prospects at all, and then just have her cooking and cleaning and staying more feminine, right? That's a way better deal for him. Okay. If a woman is going to be working, that money is his money. Now, I know it's going to be really triggering for a lot of women, right? Women don't want to hear that. I'm going to give you an example, like understand from my life, my relationship, to put it in context and understand. I'm fully aware that many men are financially abusive. I understand that many women have been taken advantage of and not demeaned. What's the word? What, I can't think of it. I know there's lots of problems, okay, with what I'm saying. So there's a lot of context, there's a lot of nuance. By the way, that's one reason that women should be joining our academy program. It should also be why women should at least be joining our masterclass, so that they learn how to communicate their needs and feelings, so that they don't get stuck in an unhealthy situation. I don't want any woman to get stuck. I definitely don't want any woman to be abused financially or otherwise. It's really important that you understand how to communicate your needs and feelings, and your self-worth is online enough to be able to flow away from a man who's not devotional, and for you not to get stuck in a relationship, in a marriage in the first place, right? You've properly vetted a man. So here's the situation from my life. By the way, polaritymasterclass.com, that's where you sign up for a masterclass. So my life, prior to me being quite successful in my business, where I am now, there was a point, well, there was an earlier point where I was a 50-50 guy, right? 50-50 guy. So I wanted my wife to make money, I would make money, and we just kept everything separate, and then we paid for the bills and stuff together. Total garbage. All right. I'm not promoting that in any kind of way. My masculine instinct was not online. I did not feel that deep desire to want to take care of my wife, to cherish my wife, to be responsible for my wife in that kind of way. So that's not what I'm talking about. But then there came a point where my instincts came fully online. I'm like, we're not going to do this anymore. This is crap. There's a question here. I'm going to address it in a few moments once I'm finished this. So my instincts came, but my wife was working. Okay, my wife was still working, and I had just spent like basically all of my money that I made for the last 3 years to pay for a house in full, actually, up north. No mortgage, nothing, paid for everything. But then we were really, really tight for money, and we were not in a place at that time where it financially made sense for her not to work. My goal at that point was I want to become a sole provider. I want, if my wife is going to work in any way, I want it to 100% just be a choice. But we were not there at that point. Okay, that was not where we were. I was working towards it. And that's the most important thing. Understand that the most important thing is not that a man is a sole provider. The most important thing is that a man is 100% committed to being able to be that responsible, to take off that burden from a woman, so that whatever she decides to do is a choice. Okay. So that's where I was. I was not a sole provider, but energetically, I really wanted to be. I hated that my wife was in a position where she had to work, especially because what she was doing, it wasn't even fun for her. So anyway, her money was my money. Okay. Her money was my money, and my money was my money. And by that, I don't mean, hey, I'm going to go spend it on whatever the hell I want and be an irresponsible jerk off. What I mean by that is it was my money to manage for us, for the family, to make the best decisions possible that I could make with it, with her in mind, both her needs and her desires in mind. Okay. So I'm managing that. So I'm taking that burden off of her, and understand. So this is not about being a control freak. This is about wanting to be able to lead, have the power to lead, to make the best decisions for her and for me, for the family unit, which at the time was just us, because that's my role as the leader. Now, if my wife was working and she got to do whatever she wanted with her money, so she's going out every week to buy expensive purses, and here I am slaving away, making money, and then I got to spend it on both of us. What kind of man is going to tolerate that? No masculine man is going to tolerate that. That's insane. It's insane that any kind of person, any kind of coach is actually promoting that as healthy, as something that a man would go along with. No, only emasculated men. Only emasculated men are going to go for that. All right. And in this real world, the world we live in today, look, the median income is $40,000 in Western countries, US. That's like nothing with the way inflation is going, and rent and food and everything. And like, you're going to have a man who's making $40,000 or $60,000, and then his woman's making whatever, half as much or just as much or whatever, and she's spending it all on herself. What? No. Oh, I would be emasculated to take any of her money so she can go spend it on purses while I'm struggling to pay the electrical bill. Oh my God, like the level of delusion and entitlement. And look, I know that most of my followers are not like crazy like this. Okay. Maybe a few of you are. And if so, hopefully I can, hammer some sense into you. I love you all, but come on, we gotta be sensible here. We gotta be reasonable. this polarity stuff is going to transform everything in your entire life, but only if you actually apply it properly. Right? Only if you understand how masculine men actually work, right? They're not going to tolerate this kind of nonsense that many coaches are putting into your heads. All right. But I know them. That's a tiny minority, I think, of my audience. I attract the kind of people that are much more sensible, I think, in general, because the ones that aren't sensible, I trigger the hell out of them and they just go away forever. All right. So may I have some clarification? Great permissive. Love that. After my divorce, I thought I just want love. I desire real connection and don't care about anything else. From all that I've discovered, this was an incorrect way to think about it. Lazy could not describe how I am, but I needed to really open up to receiving. I was kind of needless in my thinking. So I'm not fully clear on your question. After my divorce, I thought I just want love. I mean, I don't know if I desire real connection and don't care about anything else. Clarify what you mean. I'm not fully sure what you mean here, but one of the things that women, I don't know if this is, I'm just going to go with it and we're going to see what happens here. One of the things that women, don't realize, is that what they're specifically, it's not just love that a woman needs. They need loving leadership. Okay. They need a man's loving presence, loving care, loving direction, loving boundaries, right? That is how a man loves. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So it's like saying, I don't need a man's provision. I just want love. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't, so if that is what you mean, what you'll find is you definitely need more than that. You definitely need more than just love. And the other thing is a man can't love you long term, like truly love you, without it being through his leadership. In the short run, he can love you. It's more of an infatuation. It's not real love. It's coming from ego more than anything else. Everything feels good and you got your hormones going and all that stuff. And then you fall in love and you have your honeymoon period and all of that stuff. But it doesn't last because it's depolarized love. The only way to have sustainable love in a relationship is where a man is giving his leadership, his loving leadership, and a woman is receiving that leadership, right? Through following, through submission, through gratitude, through, just being fully open, through using feminine communication. By the way, again, polaritymasterclass.com. If you're like, this video is amazing, I want to know more. Yeah, go to polaritymasterclass.com where we will show you a lot more. A lot of the stuff that we do in our academy program for men and women, we show you on the masterclass. We'll role play it with you. We'll do communication role plays. We'll teach you masculine and feminine communication. We'll show you how to create this amazing dynamic. All right. polaritymasterclass.com, and that's right below my face. But so back to what I was saying. That all this entitlement stuff, it needs to go. It needs to be thrown in the garbage in everything that's in this polarity community, masculine, feminine community, because there's just so many. Here's the problem. Like, I know I'm just going on a total rant tangent today, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. But it's like we've got so many people, so many men and women who on podcasts and Facebook and wherever, TikTok and whatever else, because polarity is popular, right? And if I have anything to say about it, it's going to become a lot more popular in the next few years, because this is literally the answer to everything. Not just to transform your love life, to get the dates that you want, to have the dream relationship that you want, but also to heal the world, to heal our families, to heal our children, to heal intergenerational trauma, right? This is it. And so it's becoming really popular as the counter movement to all this garbage, feminism and all of that stuff, right? Very, very popular. So everybody's clinging to it, but so many of the influencers, it's like they're single, they're in depolarized relationships, women married to emasculated men, and then giving all of this incorrect information. You can't truly know in your bones until you actually have that polarized relationship. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be, relatively quite good. You have to have done most of your work to really feel it. So you got all this garbage that's going on, this incorrect information from people who don't actually know. They have conceptual ideas. That's what it is, right? Oh, the man should be the sole provider. So my money is my money, and the man's money is my money, because that's what being a provider is. No, what being a provider is a man who is energetically leading. Okay, more than anything else. Yes, financial provision is part of that, but he is energetically leading, and part of his energetic leading is to be leading his woman into contributing to the household and doing things that are meaningful. And if what is meaningful, and if how she is contributing happens to be making $50,000 a year, then absolutely he's going to be managing that money if he's truly dominant. If he's emasculated, okay, maybe not. Yeah. I want to erase this idea that we're going to go back to before we wrap up here. So this responsibility piece, I think, is so important, right? So women, think for a moment, reflect, feel into this. What is it that gives your life meaning? What is it that really gives your life meaning, that fills you up? Women are creators. Okay? We talk a lot about a man's purpose. That's out there a lot. Man's purpose, to provide, financially provide, to make his dent in the world, all of that kind of stuff, which is fantastic. But understand that women are creators. Women are not meant to be consumers. Human beings are not meant to be consumers, okay? Because that it's an empty void that you're trying to fill up by consuming, okay? Consuming is different than receiving, first of all. And it's not fulfilling. Okay, it's not fulfilling. So if we think of women as creators, right, they are birthing children to the world, first of all, and they can also birth other things into the world as well, right? Such as, through a business, for example, like something creative. You can also think, like, traditionally, like olden times, they're creating, a sweater, they're creating whatever. Women are meant to create. They are meant to birth things from them. Okay, they're meant to multiply what they are given. But that happens best when they are covered by a man who is leading them. Okay, so that they're not bogged down by the responsibility. Okay, they're not bogged down thinking about, how am I going to pay my bills this month? How am I going to take care of my child? How am I going to make sure that she's fed? Oh my God, there's all of these decisions that need to be made, these health decisions and these diet decisions and all this stuff, and it's all on me. And that's weighing the crap down, like you're drowning in that responsibility. You're drowning in the responsibility. And now, where is your energy to create? Where is your energy to create something meaningful? Where is your energy? You're not even receiving enough to be able to multiply it, right? Because you've got no one to give to you, to provide to you, to provide the leadership, the provision, the boundaries, the support, the love, the protection. You're not getting anything. You're not receiving anything. So how are you going to have the energy to multiply? All of your energy is tied up in taking care of yourself, providing for yourself. That's not the way that it's supposed to be. All right. The way that women are designed is to be provided for by that masculine man who is taking care of you, who is cherishing you, who is loving you, who's protecting you, who's got your back, who's anticipating your needs, who's thinking of you, who is, making your life easier in so many aspects, who's taking the responsibility, the burden of making all of those big decisions off of you, to create that space for you, not to go shopping and buy those brand name purses, Not to do that. Do that a little bit, right? It's a little bit of spoiling and, downtime and all that. Yeah, definitely a little bit. That's fine. Or whatever gets you off, whatever you really enjoy in your downtime, because everybody needs downtime. But more importantly, to create this space for you so that you can, um, let out those creative juices in whatever capacity, right? Whether that is starting some kind of business or working part-time in something that you love, or homeschooling your children, or nurturing your backyard garden, or landscaping your house, not the masculine part of the landscaping, but the, the designing and all of that stuff, and giving you the space to do that, right? Because now you don't have any of these responsibilities. Oh, and sorry, and being creative in the making food and all of that stuff as well to nourish your family, right? Now you have all of this energy and you can work many, many hours a day, because women aren't weaklings. Like, it's not like women are I think that's part of this whole femininity thing that's nonsense. Like, it's not that women are weak, right? Women are very capable of creating so much and doing so much and working, like, I'll use the word working, when they have that support. When they have that support. When they don't have that support, yeah, women can do it, right? If they're very resilient, they can do it without having total mental breakdown, at least for a while, but it will kill them inside. It will kill them. And the longer they do it, the more it will kill them. The more it will kill them. So let's see if there's any questions before I continue on here. Can I know if you think women need more downtime, rest, and space than men? Yeah, I think so. I think physiologically, yeah, like let's okay. I'm going to really think about this. I really think the most important thing is just what it is that they are doing. Because here's the thing, like, I can work 16 hours a day if I really love what I'm doing. Okay. Like, when I am doing my academy stuff and it's like, I'm really like I'm not getting bogged down in the stuff I really hate doing with my business. It's just the stuff I really love doing. Like this video, it's energizing the crap out of me right now. Okay. And there's planning stuff in it, things that really energize me. I can go 16 hours a day. Now, that's kind of excessive. I don't really want to do that 16 hours a day, but I could, and I could be energized doing it. Why? Because I am fully in my flow, in my genius, doing what energizes me. Okay. And so for women, it's the same thing. It's just that, number one, what energizes women is going to tend to be quite different. And number two, for them to truly be energized, they have to not have that responsibility of fully taking care of themselves and their children and all of that stuff. They need to have the man above them to give that support so that they are free to just be in that creative flow, right? So, hypothetically, like, I'm really trying to give you an answer here, and I might just not fully know the right answer, but hypothetically speaking, I think if a woman was really in that flow, she wouldn't need much in the way of downtime either. But the problem is, practically speaking, how can we be in that flow all the time doing like exactly what we love, right? Whether you're with your children or cooking or working a job or doing a business, yes, some of that time might be absolutely amazing and energizing, but due to the unfortunate nature of reality and real life, that's unlikely. And when you're not in that, it's going to drain a woman, I believe, much faster than a man. It's going to drain a woman much faster than a man, right? I can power through and do all the stuff that I hate day in and day out and day in and day out. And I can do it. And yeah, it does drain me, but I believe that it is going to drain women a lot faster. And then the more that you're doing the garbage that you really don't like in your life, whatever that is, the more downtime that you're going to need. Yes. May I share my experience? Yes, you can share that in one moment. But first, let's do an interjection. What is that? Let's do a commercial here for PolarityMasterclass.com. If you have not joined our masterclass yet, we've been doing this for a year and a half. We've done dozens and dozens of these classes to teach men and women polarized communication, to learn how to date, to learn how to have a relationship, to learn how to solve any problems that come up. And there will be many in your relationship, right? You don't know how to communicate in this way. Even if you do find your dream person, let's say you're single right now, you're screwed in the long run. It will not work out if you don't make these communication shifts. And these communication shifts, it's not just about the communication. It's actually shifting you into your self-worth. It's shifting you into your proper natural energy, your feminine energy, your masculine energy, right? So that you can be that way all the time, so that a woman can inspire a man, and so that a man can command the respect of a woman, so that they can create that beautiful dance all the time in a relationship where the man's leading, the woman's receiving, she's following, her needs are being met, she's being cherished, man is being revered, he's being respected, he's being received. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it can be, but only if you learn these skills to make these shifts. That starts with polaritymasterclass.com. All right, thank you for hanging in with me there. Let's get back to the show here. All right. So yes. May I share my experience? This is exactly what happened to me when I graduated college. I was feeling so much pressure and overwhelmed just trying to provide for myself that I stopped pouring love into myself and my creativity. I stopped having fun, but now I'm realizing this was coming from my own limiting beliefs about myself and what I was worthy of. Yeah, absolutely. And I think college, school, especially public school, it's the fantastic, like the best way to completely destroy all love and creativity. Love of learning and creativity. Just suck the life out of you. It did it to me too. Happens to men, happens to everybody. But yeah, especially when you have that responsibility and you get focused on like getting the grades and passing and all. Oh my God, what a horrible, hellish world we live in. That's completely backwards in every way possible. But I'm going to be doing something about it, right? Because that is my mission. It is to end this inversion, this horrible way of living and being, and this lie that has been put on both men and women, so that we cannot properly relate to each other and then not get what we truly need from each other, which is mainly respect for a man and love for a woman. And love, protection, provision, leadership, but there's lots to it. So that's true. Estrogen changes throughout the month and can make women need more rest. Yeah, absolutely. During your cycles, there's definitely going to be periods where you need more rest. That is absolutely the case. I feel so much excitement, relief, energized, joy, and grateful for this quality content. Awesome. Great to hear. May I share? I feel grateful receiving financial provision from my man. I also feel joy in nurturing my interests that contribute to humanity. Sometimes this brings me income, and I'm having strong desire to keep leaning in to respect and submit to my man. It's a need, and it keeps me soft. Yeah, and ideally, you're able to fully do both, right? Like, especially, it would have been. So put it this way: say like 200 years ago. Now, women are creating through knitting and making food and taking care of the kids and all of that stuff. And, they get a lot of purpose out of that, and it's probably doing way too much because, oh my God, that's just such a full-time job, sun up till sundown. But, now we're so lucky in many ways today. Like, we're so screwed in other ways with the way that the economy is going and, so many of the problems that are happening in the world. But we are also so lucky for so many amazing reasons. Like just the fact that we have the internet today, right? 30 years ago, nobody would be able to learn this from me. I would be teaching this probably not, because I wouldn't have learned it myself. So I wouldn't be, who the hell knows what I would be doing? But say I did learn it, I would be teaching it on my little northern Ontario island to like a few people, and probably making almost no money and probably begging for it. And nobody would know about any of this stuff, right? Because you don't have access to it. So we get all of this incredible information, but then what we also get is the ability to, an easier ability to do the things that we love, right? Because of the internet, because of horrible tyrannical social media companies like Facebook that are terrible in so many ways, but they allow us to connect in ways that we couldn't have done 30 years ago, right? And they allow us to connect, to create things that we wouldn't have been able to create 30 years ago, right? So women have this ability to, and I'm not saying every single woman should be a business owner. I'm definitely not saying that, but a lot of women can nurture their creative abilities through having a part-time business, right? And imagine this situation. So say, I mean, this could be with children or without, right? So you got a man and he's providing and he's making his $100,000 or whatever a year, enough to take care of everything. What does that do? Well, that allows you, obviously you'll be doing some things to support him, making him sandwiches and whatever, but it allows you a lot of freedom to, without having to worry about making money to pay the bills, allows you that freedom to create something amazing. It gives you the freedom to focus on your creativity and submitting to your joy, submitting to what turns you on, submitting to what fills your heart up, what makes your heart sing. And then when you're able to do that, when you're able to focus on that, especially if you have a man who's able to support you in any way in that business, to take over like some of the terrible masculine aspects, the managing and stuff, you could actually make a lot of money from it, right? Whereas if you're focused on making the money, you're actually probably going to make less because you're, or a lot less, because you're not focusing on truly doing what you love. Guess what? People are attracted to you when you are doing what you love, when you are doing what makes your heart sing, when you are doing what makes you come most alive, because they're going to feel that in your energy. They're going to feel that in your energy, and they're going to want that too. They're going to want whatever you're selling, because it's like, oh, there's something magnetic about this. I just can't look away, right? And that's going to be a hell of a lot more fulfilling than buying purses at the mall. And you can think of it like in a business in a way. It's like, and I'm not saying a woman shouldn't have children if she's able to, because I mean, I think there's nothing better than having a child. But having a business can be like a child in many ways, that you are nurturing, that you are giving your energy to, giving your love to. Yeah, and that's going to be a million times more meaningful than what's being sold in, unfortunately, in a lot of circles. Yeah. So look, everybody. Oh wait, we'll do this question first. What about men? Do they have the space to create an inspiring business? Oh, of course. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm fully inspired to create this, and the energy is going to be different. Right? The energy is definitely going to be different for a man, but he needs that. Especially needs that because a man is so purpose oriented. So he needs to be able to be inspired on his purpose to create. I mean, I think the way we're going in our society is more and more to create businesses, because we need to be creating lots of businesses. Anyway, a man absolutely needs that. He absolutely needs that. But the thing is, okay, I think this is what you're getting at. Do they also have this space? So a man thrives on responsibility. Okay, that's the difference here. Women die with responsibility. Okay, they need meaning, right? Meaning fills them up. Meaning allows them to flourish. But responsibility kills them. It's like pouring salt on a flower. It is going to wilt and die. But with men, they thrive on responsibility and they actually need it. So I'm going to use myself as an example here, okay? So there's two or there, no, there's three major responsibilities that I have in my business that keep me going. Okay. Number one is my responsibility to provide for my wife and my child. I love that. That's part of, like, that's the biggest part for me of like why money feels so good. And like, I don't see money as evil. Money is awesome because money is just energy. So when I am receiving energy, when I'm attracting money, it's like one of my purposes is being fulfilled. One of my main responsibilities, my primary responsibility, which is to my family, and that feels amazing. It's like, great, now I have the resources to protect my family, to provide for my family, to spoil my family a little bit, to invest in the future of my family. That feels good. I like having that responsibility. I really, really like it. Now, it sucks. Responsibility starts to suck a lot more if you're not really fulfilling your responsibility, right? Like if you're really struggling in your business, suddenly that responsibility doesn't feel nearly as good. And when you're doing at least okay, or if you're thriving, yes, that feels amazing. It feels absolutely amazing to have that responsibility where, like, I'm feeling I get to be my wife's and my daughter's hero. That is such an amazing feeling to have. Such an amazing feeling. That it's my responsibility to make sure that they are fed, to make sure that they're protected, to make sure that their lives are great and they have a roof over their head and that they have, whatever it is that they need to thrive. I feel great about that. And then second, to my clients, right? And on a bigger scale, it's like to the world, whether someone signs up as a client or not. My work is going to have a ripple effect to create huge change. But it's that responsibility specifically that I love. It's like when we look at responsibilities, there's always two sides of things. If my clients aren't doing what they should be, that's on them. If I'm trying my best to serve them, I can't help them if they're not willing to help themselves. But I love being responsible in the way of providing for them everything that they need to thrive. That is what gives me meaning, is the responsibility of it. It's the responsibility of it that falls on me. That's my choice to bring my purpose forth. So it energizes me. Instead of it draining me, it energizes me. And again, it could drain me if I'm doing a bunch of stuff I don't want to be doing. But the responsibility itself, when I have the power, when I have the, what is that word? The agency to give everything that I need to give, it feels great. And then third, of course, is to my team. Right? I like having that responsibility for my team, where again it falls on me, where I'm taking care of my team. I'm making sure that they're getting what they need. And again, there's some caveats to that, but to a man, that is actually what energizes him, and that's what for a man whose masculine instincts are online, that's what energizes him. And he needs that to thrive. He needs that to thrive. That's one of the fundamental differences between the masculine and the feminine. So he needs that masculine to thrive. Or he needs the, what did I say? The responsibility. May I share an experience? I started making an all-natural pain salve for friends and family for a little profit. It became so popular and the demand was so high that my feelings of joy of making it started to feel so heavy. I quit making it altogether. I didn't know how to manage this. May I know how you would handle this with your wife? Interesting. So the demand was so high that my feelings of joy. So what happened was, man, we're going like so off topic, but this is great. I'm it's just a nice segue. so you quit making it all together. So what typically would have happened there is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what is typical, is you probably felt some kind of responsibility where it's like, now for people to be happy, to get what they need, I need to be creating a certain amount and it needs to be on a certain timeline. Otherwise they will be unhappy. And then, I failed in some kind of way. And what's that going to do? That's going to suck 100% out of the joy out of your life. Now, if a man has that guilt and everything stuff, that's also going to be problematic for a man. But yeah, so you're saying absolutely correct. So exactly. So what, so to feel that joy again, you need to learn to say just F it to anybody else's, I want to be clear about this, but F it to anybody's feelings. Like, I'm going to make this as many as I feel like. I don't care how many people want. I don't care if there's 500 people who want this and it's going to totally save their lives and, make their heal their pain so much better. I'm going to do only as many that bring me joy. And this month, that's 50. Yeah, there's 500 people that want it, but I only want to make 50. Right? But what that might bring up for you is guilt. It's like guilt of being selfish or whatever, or some shame, maybe some sadness, thinking about how certain people won't be helped, or whatever, right? Whatever the feelings are, it's the feelings that are pushing you away from your joy. And to get back into it, you need to just focus on what brings you joy rather than the responsibility that you're putting on yourself. Because it's not that you signed up for that responsibility. It's not that you signed any contracts or anything like that. You just chose to take a responsibility that isn't even yours onto yourself, and then that killed all the desire. Right? That's no fun. And so, so two things. Number one, when the demand exceeds supply when demand exceeds more supply than what you want to supply, then that may be the time to raise your prices. Number one. Number two, this is also an opportunity to practice feminine communication, right? Because this all comes back down to your needs, right? You've got your needs, and your need is not being met when you're putting all this stuff onto yourself. This can happen with your husband as well. This can happen with your family. You're draining yourself because you're now doing things that are not feeling good for you, or you're doing too much of things that don't feel good for you, whatever that is. And now your energy is getting sapped. And if you allow that to happen, if you continue to allow that to happen, whether it's in a business or whether it's your family, your children, your husband, then over time you're going to have nothing left to give, not to yourself, not to your loved ones, not to anybody. And then it's like the only thing you want to do is go shopping for that brand name purse, because I don't want to do anything for it, right? And that's how we get to that point. That's how we get to that point. And so the energy is getting sucked out of you because I'm going to use the word boundary here, right? I don't like using the word boundaries with women, but it's like there's a hole in your boundary where what needs to be happening is you communicating something in a certain way. When women, and that doesn't mean you set boundaries, right? And of course, I know that you know this. It doesn't mean that you set boundaries, because then you're going into your masculine. The more that you do that, that's not going to feel good either. But you need to be communicating at all times what's going on. And that comes down to getting really in touch with those needs, right? Because what we are doing here, ladies and gentlemen, for both men and women, oh God, that's so bright. Just notice my face, you can barely see me. What we're doing is, number one, connecting you to your needs, right? So like, you're bringing up a problem here, Corey, which is your unmet needs. Like, you don't even know how to meet your own need. And you ended up just pushing it all away because you didn't know how to meet that need. And then, obviously that joy that you got from making those things now goes away, right? That beautiful joy that you had. And so what this is about is learning to really, and I'm not just talking about creating those little selves, I'm talking about everything that you're doing as a woman, what every woman is doing. You need to know what your need is. And so many women don't know what their need is because they weren't taught to be fully connected to their needs. They don't know what their needs are. They don't necessarily know what their feelings mean when there is an unmet need. And then certainly, even if a woman does have those two things together, which is rare in itself, they don't know how to communicate those needs in a way that's going to inspire a man to want to help you to ensure that those needs get met, whether that's giving you direction or whether that's him changing something that he shouldn't be doing or start doing something that he should be doing to ease your burden, right? You need to learn how to communicate that. And that's what we're doing here, right? That is ultimately what we are doing here with this polarity work, with this polarized communication, is learning how to be fully tapped into those needs and then learn how to communicate them in a way where you're actually going to get them met. And where you start to get the message over and over again that you're worthy of those needs getting met. So we work with a lot of women who their needs aren't getting met. And then they have this lack of self-worth around that where it's like, deep down, I don't believe my needs I don't deserve to have my needs met. That's not true. You deserve to have all of your needs met, and you can get all of those needs met, but only when you start showing up in a very different way. Only when you start showing up in a way where you are letting go of control energetically and you are communicating all of those needs, all of those feelings in a way that inspires a man to want to step up and take care of you, whether that's a first date, whether it's a 10th date, whether it's a long-term boyfriend, whether it's a husband, doesn't matter. You need to learn this. And the best way to start, right, this is what we do in our academy program, our academy family, every day, day in and day out, but to start to give you that inside scoop of what we're doing, of how we are creating these powerful transformations, is to start by going to polaritymasterclass.com, the link below my face, and booking your spot for the December masterclass, where we will spend 2 hours with you, showing you how to communicate, telling you how to communicate, connecting you to those needs, role playing. You won't do the role plays yourselves, but we will demo the role plays for you to show you what this communication looks like. And then we will answer questions so that you get so much information about what you need to do to shift forward to create the relationship of your dreams. So if you have not attended a masterclass yet, go to polaritymasterclass.com, below my face, right? Type that in your search bar, go there, book your spot, and I will see you in December. That's it for this video. Everyone have a fantastic day.